We now switch gears to Supreme Court term limits. A Wisconsin State Bar task force has recommended limiting Supreme Court justices to only one term, but extending that term from 10 years to 16 years. That would eliminate re-election races for justices, which the panel says will make them more independent and improve relations within the court. The proposed constitutional amendment would need backing by 2 consecutive sessions of the legislature and approval from the public in a referendum. The task force says it is confident it can gain that support. Green Bay attorney Joe Troy is a member of that panel. He joins us now, and thanks very much for doing so.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, how in your mind would a 16-year term limit reduce the influence of campaign money for Supreme Court justices?
You know, it's not just the effect that it may have on the funding of campaigns. It is really more about the effect it will have on the Supreme Court and the public's perception of what their job is. The biggest change that this plan would bring about is that a justice will never again, once they are elected, have to, so to speak, hang their robe up and become a political candidate seeking support of interest groups and finances to run a re-election. And we think that that change alone will instill a better sense that we have an independent court that's acting out of a sense of their view of the law and the facts. And so it isn't designed to or purported to change financing. It's purported to change how the court is perceived and how the court functions once the justices are there.
How would it improve relations on the court between the justices?
Never again, once this plan would be implemented, would one justice have any interest in the future career of their fellow justices. And whether it is a very overt thing or it's a very subtle thing, the fact of the matter is that through the history of Wisconsin's Supreme Court, not just recently, when there have been public rifts that have come to the public's attention, it has most frequently surrounded someone's re-election. I mean, it's very hard to work in a collegial, cooperative way with 6 other justices when the fact of the matter is that several of your colleagues don't want you to be there in the future.
Yeah. Well, what about the criticism of the term limit idea that it denies voters the right to kind of keep someone in office that they believe is doing a good job?
Well, you know, it is a fact that we will no longer have justices that serve for 20 or 30 years. And that changes things, but they'll have the right to elect a new justice, someone that would be fresh to the court. And we will then see this actual turnover on a regular but gradual basis of new people coming onto the court with their own perspectives and their own experience.
Yeah, in terms of this idea of term limits kind of reducing the influence of campaign money, why didn't your task force embrace, say, public financing of judicial elections or mandatory recusals instead of the term limits idea?
Those are both ideas that we certainly studied and considered, along with many others, in completely different types of selection processes for justices. And we have determined that we want to do something that makes a difference and is possible, that is politically feasible. This plan is politically feasible because it's politically neutral. It helps all citizens. It doesn't advantage or disadvantage any particular ideology. And the fact is that the changes that we have not been advocating all come with very strong opponents on many different levels and would never sustain through 2 legislative sessions and a referendum of the people.
All right. Joe Troy, thank you very much for joining us and explaining this.
Thank you very much.